in 5-10 minutes they will add, but we'll continue first. Guys, we discussed about important points. Okay, what is server, what is work client, what is work group, what is domain, difference between work group and domain, that is also very important, and what is an active directory, what is a active directory also we discussed, and also I given some idea about a cloud and Azure AD also. Okay, so in this one we are discussing about today DHCP, DHCP, DHCP server. So what is this DHCP server? Simply say dynamic host configuration protocol. What is DHCP? Dynamic host configuration protocol. And what is DHCP server? What is DHCP server? What it will do? You have a client, and already we know the client is configured like a DHCP enabled yes. It means in your adapter, you have an adapter in the IPv4 settings. There is two options are there, right? So second option for a manual, use following IP address. Okay, and you should give IP address here. Use following IP address. You should give IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, and again this second use following DNS server, prefer DNS server address. Okay, so you are giving IP address, subnet mask, default gateway. Of course, IP address and subnet mask compulsory. Default gateway DNS servers are optional based on the network. So this is manual configuration. Okay, or static IP address. Then what is the first option? We'll do it. The first option is automatic type. Means obtain IP address automatically. I will show and will explain. Okay, I think already when we seen IP address part, we have seen ncpa.cpl. It opens network connections directly. It opens network connections directly. Okay, see, I'm going to an adapter, some adapter properties. Okay, and IPv4 properties. So it's the first option, means I want to get an IP address automatically. Means I want to get an IP address from DHCP server. This is manual configuring. Use following IP address. When you are entering an IP address here, for example, you are entering an IP address, and then you should give subnet mask, default gateway and DNS server optional based on the network you have to give. But this is IP address and subnet mask you are giving manually. Okay, so this is called static. If in case you want to get an IP address from DHCP server, then you have to tell obtain IP address automatically. Okay, I'm closing this one also. So if you select this one, so you are become a DHCP client. If you select the first option, obtain IP address automatically, means you are a DHCP client. So what happens here? This is a DHCP client. For example, this PC C1, C2, C3, and DHCP server all are in the same network, means same physical network. Okay, so what will happen? This DHCP server assign an IP address to the client PC. So we'll get an IP address. We'll get an IP address means our adapter, it will be configured with the IP address, subnet mask, then default gateway, DNS address. Okay, so you have a devices. These devices, these client PCs, DHCP client PCs, get IP address from DHCP server. DHCP server assign an IP address or configure an IP address to the client PCs automatically. Okay, so this is simple direct point. To understand, guys, understand what is the use of DHCP server. Assign IP address to the clients automatically. DHCP means Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. The port number is 6768. So to assign an IP address to an adapter, NIC, two methods. Already I explained. One is manual method, means static IP address. Another one is dynamic method or automatic method. Automatic or a dynamic or manual or a static. Okay. Manual means already I told you have to go to second option, use following IP address. You have to assign IP address, subnet mask according to your default gateway address, and then here if you have a DNS server, then give the DNS server address. Okay. For example, you have a 3 computers or 5 computers, 10 computers. You have to go to each and every computer and you have to assign an IP address. It is okay, no problem. Think like you have 50 computers. Can you go to 50 computers, each and every computer, can you assign an IP address? Difficult. Think like you have 100 computers, 500 computers, 1000 computers, 1000 devices. Computer means devices. It is very difficult to assign an IP address. If number of devices increases, very difficult to assign IP address individually. Okay. And there is a possibility of typo errors, like while you are typing an IP address, there's a wrong IP address possible. Most of my students will do like this, 170, 192, or sometimes they will put a 190 also instead of 192. Okay, so what they will do, I said put a IP address 160, 192.168.1.11. What they will do, they put 172, 168, 168, 1 dot something like this, or what they will do, 192, okay, 16, 1.11. Some people put 190, 168, 1.11. So when you see the IP address is different. So my original IP, like I have one more PC is there. So second PC, first PC, this is the IP address. First PC, this is the IP address. And for a student, this is the, I said, assign this IP address. What they will do it? They do by mistake. Okay. Somewhere there is a mistake. Because of this mistake, what will happen? Instead of this, they enter this kind of IP address. What will happen? You can't communicate. Sorry, it is not communicating. It is not connecting. It is showing some other error. Okay. So important, again, important also understand the troubleshooting part. Okay. Important in the network is, the first one is connectivity. First one is connectivity, physical connection. We are already learned OSL layer, right? What is the bottom layer? Physical layer. Physical layer telling about physical connectivity. Either it is wide connectivity, wireless connectivity, fiber optical connectivity. Physical layer is talking about connectivity, right? The PCs are connected. The connection is there or not. Okay. In a troubleshooting, step by step from physical layer. Second layer is, of course, data link layer. We don't mind what it is, but important is network layer. Of course, data link layer is also there, but MAC address is most common. Mostly we don't concentrate on that one, but sometimes some, because of some columns, so your MAC address are gone. Something MAC address column is there, but we are purely not taking very strictly, we can't take that MAC address related issue. So network layer is dealing with the IP address, source IP and destination IP. If you configured your PC IP address like this, or like this, or like this, okay, so you won't get communicated. If you are not getting communicated, the first thing is connectivity, second one is IP address, you have to check it. And if in case your original IP address means the actual IP address original based on the network, that IP address and your IP address is different, what you have to do it, you have to try to change the IP address, then they will become logically same network. So this is the one of the network troubleshooting, guys. Of course, I am trying to explain wrong IP addresses. Possible wrong IP address we can enter by typing mistake, or much like some wrong information, or some wrong estimation kind of stuff. Some people do mistakes, right? Conflicts. What is the conflicts? If two or more PCs are having same IP address, assign a IP address to multiple PCs. So this PC and this PC having same IP. This is called a conflict. If whenever the conflict is there, they they cannot communicate each other and they won't communicate to anyone. Shubham Jaishwal. Already present. Okay, Vaibhav. Okay. Okay, guys, see here it is. If two PCs are having same IP, that is called a conflict. So that is called a conflict. Whenever the conflict is occur, so those two PCs cannot communicate each other, and no other PC also they won't communicate to it. So means automatically whenever the two PCs are in a conflict, so they cannot communicate to anyone, from anyone to each other also they can't communicate. So when you are entering an IP address for more PCs, then it is possible conflicts, wrong IP addresses. Very important, guys. How many people know how to assign an IP address? Nowadays, earlier days only computer people, computers, ESC people, IT people using computers. And the computer is not for a computer background people. So also for non computer background, right? Non-technical background people are there, non-computer background, non-IT background, non-technical background people also use the computers, right? Next, not only a computer nowadays, also we are using different devices. Different devices. So what happened? Why happened? Yesterday present. Okay. Not everyone knows how to assign IP address. And today's we are using different devices, like not only a computers or laptops. You are having a TV, so the TV is smart TVs are connected to Wi-Fi networks. Mobile phones, smart TVs, smart LEDs, smart printers, okay, Wi-Fi printers, okay. It is very difficult to assign an IP address. So what we are doing here, we use a DHCP server to assign an IP address to your laptops, your desktops, mobile phones, your tablets, your TVs. So we can assign an IP address easily. Next. DHCP server assign an IP address to the clients. Okay, so then automatically it is assign the IP address, right? Now I am here in my location, my place. I got an IP address dynamically. I went to office. I went to office. I got an IP address from that office DHCP server. It is again different IP. Okay, so and there is a in a dynamic IP address, it is keep changing according to the network, according to the DHCP server. So your IP address may not be same every time you are connected. For example, I connected today, I got something like a 192.168.1.100. Tomorrow I connected, then may I get a 200. Day after tomorrow I get connected, then I may get a 110. Okay, so the IP address can be changed in the DHCP environment, DHCP type of connecting. Second one is I am connected here. I am getting an IP address. I go to my hometown. I got a IP address according to that DHCP server. According to that DHCP server, I will get a new IP address. I went to office. I will get a new another IP address. So these IP addresses keep changing when you change the network because of dynamic, automatic DHCP server. Okay. Next, number of devices increases. We can assign an IP address to the devices very easily because we are not going to each and every PC to assign an IP address. Just simply put those devices into automatic, obtain IP address automatic. So the device will get an IP address from DHCP server. Okay. And there is a less or no possibility of entering wrong IP address because we are not giving IP address manually. We are getting an IP address automatically. It means wrong IP addresses, conflicts are less. Okay, possible conflicts. If conflict is occur also, there is a automatically resolve the conflicts. Everyone is not required to know how to assign IP address. For example, my nephew using a laptop, so he don't required to know how to assign an IP address because he got an IP address from DHCP server, right? So very simple, right? Everyone is not required to know how to assign an IP address. Okay, and also we can assign an IP address to different type of devices, not only a desktop or laptop, also network connecting devices to nowadays like a smart LED TV, smart TVs, smart LEDs, smart printers. Okay, so these are all devices, mobile phones, tablets are also can easily get an IP address from DHCP server. So this is the explanation about DHCP server. Important is what is a DHCP server? DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, port number 6768. DHCP server assign an IP address to the clients automatically. Using DHCP server, you can assign an IP address to the multiple devices, including desktops, laptops, mobile, tablets, based on their connectivity, of course, guys, wired and wireless connectivities. That is different point. Okay, so any different devices we can able to get connected. Okay, it reduces conflicts. So it resolve the conflicts and you know entering of IP addresses, less burden on a administrator, or a administrative burden will be reduced. Means you need to go to each and every PC to assign an IP address. So very simple, client is getting an IP address automatically from DHCP server. So that's why burden will be reduced. That is the answer. Explanation is different, guys. Telling an answer to the question is different. So you have to put a one clean part. Okay. You can't explain from there. Guys, look at here. This is a DHCP server, and there is a 4 computers are there, A, B, C, D. For C computer, I already given a IP address manually. Already given IP address manually. So DHCP server will give IP address to A, B, D only, not to C. Why? Because C is configured IP address manually. Okay. Next, come to the DHCP server side. You can see there is an IP address scope 192.168.1.10, 192.168.1.100. So that is the range. Means I am telling to my server, give the IP address from 1.10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 up to 110 to the client PCs. So A PC got a 192.168.1.10. BPC got a something like a DPC got a 190.168.1.12 and BPC got a 1.13. So why it is not given 11 to anyone? Because 11 is already taken by C. So it resolved by resolving the conflicts. So it is skip the giving 11 because already 11 is existing in the network. So it is not giving 11 to anyone. So it is giving next number. Next. APC got 10. DPC got 12. Why not BPC is not getting 12? Guys, it is not as any sequence order. IP address, client get an IP address based on a first come, first serve basis. First come, first serve basis. Next. My DHCP server address is 192.168.1.1. So in a DPC, I have configured. I got an IP address to DPC, and it is showing IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, DHCP server address, and DNS server address also. Okay. So who is this DHCP server? So in our home, we don't have any separate server, right? To get an given IP address to your mobile phone. Very simple. Your router act like a DHCP server. For example, in my current home or maybe in my hometown, someone. Okay. Router act like a DHCP server. Your Wi-Fi router you are there now. So in your home, you have a Wi-Fi router. The Wi-Fi router act like a DHCP server. Whenever you connected to your Wi-Fi router, you will get a IP address automatically because DHCP server act like a router is act like a DHCP server. Other than that one, in your Windows server, so you have, if you take a Windows server operating system, you can install DHCP role, then that server become DHCP server. Or you can take a Linux server, install DHCP related package, then your server become DHCP server. Again, in our home, we have a router. The router is act like a DHCP server. That's why we are getting IP address. DHCP server having a scope. The scope means that is range of IP address. Starting IP, ending IP, range is there. So whenever the client is required an IP address, so server give the IP address which is available next. Okay. So this is the another part of DHCP. And lot of things are there in DHCP. This is one more important. That is, guys, as I said, server provide a service, client take the service. And also I given one more point. I said that is actually what is actually happens. I told. Okay. So what is it? Server never provide any service directly. It won't give to anything to anyone. The client send a request, server give a response. Server give response. In this case also, it is the same thing. Client, when you choose obtain IP address automatically, so the client don't have any IP address. Client don't have any IP address. So what it will do, client try to discover where is my DHCP server. Client is trying to discover where is the DHCP server. So what it will do, it will broadcast discovery packet. Whenever the packet is received by DHCP server, so DHCP server understand this particular PC with this particular MAC address required an IP address. Required an IP address. So it received a discover packet. Okay. Server received a discovery packet. Next, server will give a packet to client that is called a offer. So I'm trying to discover, client is discover DHCP server by sending discover packet. DHCP discovery packet to everyone. Means simply say the client will ask, are you DHCP server? Are you DHCP server? Are you DHCP server? Meanwhile, there is a DHCP server. So client easily understand, okay, yes, this is the DHCP server. Okay, client. So server and server got a DHCP discovery packet, and server understand this is the client and this is the client MAC address. So required a IP address. What is the server will do it? It send offer. It send a offer to the client. Do you want this particular IP address? Then client what it will do it? It send a request. Okay. The client send a request. Yes, I want that IP address. Yes, I want that IP address. Then server send a acknowledgement. Sends server send an acknowledgement to the client by configuring IP address. Like it configures your IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, DHCP address, DNS address. Also, of course, few more things like a lease duration, lease expiry also will be added. Okay, guys. So this is called a DORA process. Discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. This is called a DORA process. Discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. Okay, this is the same thing. How DHCP lease generation works. Client broadcast DHCP discovery packet. Whenever the server receives the discovery packet, it try to give it gives DHCP offer packet to the client. Client request for a IP address. Okay, so then server broadcast the IP address packet. So this is DORA process: discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. So it is very rarely asked question, but still it is a question, and it is good score for knowing DHCP, DNS, and Active Directory out of 3 topics. This networking topic is good score. DHCP related. Okay. So DHCP process, we call it as a DORA process.
Sir, please tell me in short. I did not understand this.
Tell me,
Sir, please tell me in short. I did not understand this topic, sir.
which one, DHCP or DORA?
Sir, DHCP.
Okay, okay. So I will tell once again, but just let me complete this DORA. So DORA means discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. Very simple. Client send a DHCP discovery packet. So whenever the server receives, it give a IP offer to the client. The client request for DHCP server, yes, I want that IP address, and server send an acknowledgement. That acknowledgement contains the configuration of IP addresses, subnet mask, default gateway, and DNS server address and lease duration. Okay, like this already I shown now. DHCP client means you have to choose obtain IP address automatically. Manual means second option. Okay, just I want to revise the DHCP, guys. We are all connected in the network, right? So we are all connected to a network, right? If you are using mobile phone using 4G, you are connecting to the data, right? So you are connecting to the network, of course. Um, in my home, I am getting IP address, right? So I'm connecting to the network means I got an IP address. Okay. In offices, lot of computers are there. They're also getting IP address. From where they are getting an IP address? From DHCP server. But in generally in our home, we don't have any separate DHCP servers. So that's why your router is act like a DHCP server. In your home, if you have a router, the router is act like a DHCP server. Okay. So what is a DHCP server? It configure an IP address to your client PCs. That's it. Your devices get an IP address from DHCP server. How this process will work? Using DORA process. Discover, request, acknowledgement. Got it? Dynamic host configuration protocol. Okay. Guys, next topic. APIPA is also there. That is also will include now. I think already I told, but this is also troubleshooting. In just before we start this DHCP, that time also I told one thing about a troubleshooting thing. It is, for example, you are unable to communicate from one PC to another PC. So if there is a problem with your IP address also possible. First is basic network connectivity and IP address. Okay. Next one is APIPA. Whenever you are checking an IP address, whenever you check the IP address, and so for example, you check the IP address here, details. See, DHCP enable yes, but it is not showing IP address. It is showing auto configuration IPv4 address. So this is 169.254. It is showing first two octets 169.254. Okay. It is showing auto configuration IPv4 169.254 and DHCP enable yes. So you are not getting IP address from DHCP server. You got a APIPA address, APIPA automatic private IP address. Okay, what you will do if you got APIPA address, check the DHCP server properly. So check the DHCP server is alive, is any connection related issue, or it can be okay, so it can be a server related issue. So you are unable to get a client is unable to get a IP address from DHCP server. So client device assign its own IP address called 169.254. So if you got like that, two options are there. Go to your NIC, right click, disable and enable, or use IP config release and RP config renew as a command. Next one is the DNS. I will explain the DNS after small break. Okay.